Hey, this is episode whichever one for Making It Relatable. I have no clue what episode we're on now. Maybe it's 18, 19, 20, something like that. But whatever it is, it doesn't actually really matter. It doesn't matter at all what episode we're on because we're here together and that's what's the most important thing of all. Right? 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 Absolutely. And thank you for coming and checking out my video here for Making It Relatable. If this is your first time here, then welcome to the community of two and hoping to make it a community of three with you. And if you're not sure what that is all about, you can check previous videos because we are building a community here. That is the whole purpose of this channel. There's a lot of people out there that are struggling through all kinds of different things. I know I certainly am. I've got a lot of different struggles that I'm working through. We talk about what some of those struggles are, how I'm working through them, and how I'm trying to make myself a better version of me. And maybe you can take some of those things that I'm doing and you can figure out how you can make those your own way of getting through whatever you need to get through, and vice versa. Perhaps there's some stuff that you've been through that might be valuable to me and you can share that with me as well, because that's very much appreciated if you can do that. Because again, that's what this channel is all about. It's about building a community of people, about getting together, about helping each other with our struggles, because we are not through, and I don't think we'll ever be through the whole vid situation. That's how I refer to it, the vid. And a lot of things that have happened because of the vid are things like all kinds of psychological and emotional challenges that all of us have had underlying throughout our lives. And the vid just brought those challenges out to the forefront. It made it more obvious. And now that we're having to come to terms with the fact that there's all these underlying things that need to get dealt with, well, a lot of us don't know where to turn to and what to do. And a lot of us don't want to go anywhere, don't want to have to deal with it, or we want to deal with it on our own. We don't want to have anybody tell us how to do things. And we want to know that we've figured out our own way through it. Or maybe we just, want to keep it to ourselves because we're just private people. So this is an avenue. This channel is an avenue to help us through those things and also just to have a good time. If you're good, if all is good with you, then awesome. Still happy to have you here. You don't have to have things that you're going through in order to enjoy this channel. For sure not. Your life could be perfect and awesome and great, and we're happy to have you here because all of our lives, I believe, are fantastic and great in a lot of ways. And I also believe that even people that are going through the best lives are still going through their own personal struggles. So feel free to share your struggles with me if you'd like. There's ways to reach out to me privately. You can always do that. And if you want to also interact with people, you know where to do that down below in the comments. But also, I always say, don't do that. Don't comment on anything because maybe we just don't want to do that. Maybe we just want to watch a video. And maybe you don't even want to watch this video. Maybe you had enough already and you're like, I'm getting out of here. I don't really care what this guy has to say. And I'm going to go watch the next video, or I'm just going to go eat something, or whatever you have to do. And that's cool too. That's fine. And I'm just happy to have you here. Even if you came by for 1 second, I'm happy to know that you just clicked on the video and you were curious to know what it's all about. And even if you didn't do that, it's fine too. It's all good. I'm happy either way. And let's just get on with it. As always, got the notes, and we're going to just go through the stuff that I want to go through. I know it's been a week. It's been 1 full week, I think, since I posted last. And as always, whenever I have stuff, I've written out 6 things this time. 6 things that I want to go through. Whenever I have about 5 things or more to talk about, then I make a video. That's how I do it. Some people post no matter what, every single day. Some people post no matter what, once a week, once a month, whatever it is. I don't do it that way. I post whenever I feel like it. I do whatever I want because that's how I roll. That's how I roll. This channel is about making and doing things that I want to do the way that I want to do it. And if you're along for that ride and joining me throughout that ride, then awesome. And I'm happy, just happy. So first thing, last video, we talked about the peas on the spoon. and I promised that I would talk about what I came up with, what my buddy was talking about, and he said 8 peas. 8 peas on a spoon? Come on now. Who's who can only fit, first of all, how big are the peas and how small is the spoon that you can only fit 8 peas on a spoon? That doesn't make any sense. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my whole entire life. If it's a regular sized pea and a regular sized tablespoon, then you're fitting, I imagine, about 25 peas on a spoon. I said maybe even 30. It's possible, but I said around 25 peas. Minimum, bare minimum, 20 peas for sure. And I even said, if you look up pictures, just type in Google, just type it in, just say, peas on a spoon, and there'll be a whole bunch of pictures that'll pop up from all kinds of different websites, and you can look at peas on a spoon. And I did it. I looked at peas on a spoon, and I sent him the pictures. And 99% of those pictures, you can look for yourself. You don't believe me. 99% of those pictures are at least 20 peas on a spoon. So I think that saying 25, maybe even 30 peas, perfectly reasonable. 8 peas, there were like 2 pictures with 8 peas on a spoon. So it just doesn't make any sense, and he's absolutely ridiculous. And that was that. That was that whole discussion, and we're still fighting about it. Pretty much every single time that we're playing PUBG together. But that's just how it goes. Sometimes you just have to have these ridiculous feuds between your friends, and it's a good time. So now, I want to talk about an interesting situation. So you may know this, maybe you don't, but my parents are in Florida. I can't remember if I mentioned that before, but my parents are in Florida, and they've been there for about 6 months. They go about, every year, they go for about 6 months out of the year to Florida, have a good time, and then they come back, and they're having to subject themselves to Toronto. And not that there's anything wrong with Toronto. I love Toronto. Toronto's a great place to be. There's a lot of craziness happening in the world right now, and we could be in a lot of those places and have to deal with a lot of things. So I'm grateful to be in Toronto, happy with Toronto. But Florida and Toronto, I think Florida's better. Mind you, in the summer, it's perhaps debatable. It does get pretty nasty here in the summer in terms of weather. But anyways, they're in Florida, having a good time, and my parents get fairly personable. They get fairly personable. They make friends whenever they're there, new friends, and they made friends with younger couple for them, and seemed like they're having a good time with them. And my mom likes to talk about me, and she can get a little bit too detail oriented with what's going on in my life with other people, which I've talked to her about, which bothers me, which drives me a little crazy. And we've had multiple discussions about her doing that, and then she's just like, oh yeah, I'm really, really sorry, and then she just does it anyways. And it's super annoying, and but it's just something that I just throw my hands up in the air, and I'm like, all right, fine. I guess there could be worse things that happen, and just got to let it go and let it be what it is. But she started talking about me to this couple, and this, the guy who she's talking to, she says that he is very much like me, and she thinks that we would get along really well. I'm like, all right, whatever. So she asked if she could give him my phone number. So I said, fine. It's cool. It's all good. His name is, by the way, I should refer to him rather than just calling him the guy, right? I should give people some names. I think it's fine to give first names. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. His name is Kevin. So now Kevin, he wanted to talk to me about crypto. Again, if you know me fairly well, you know that I am investing into crypto a fairly decent amount. So he wanted to ask me about it. He wanted to talk to me about it because I've been doing that for a few years. And he wants to get into it for the first time, and he doesn't know where to start, and he wants to just get information and all that kind of stuff. So we're talking for a while, and he's like so appreciative of my time. He's saying how excited he is to be able to talk to me about this stuff. And when he gets back, because he also lives in Toronto, when he gets back in town, May 1st, he wants to take me out for a nice dinner. And I'm like, okay, that's really generous, and we're going to go to like a really nice place. I'm like, okay, that sounds nice. It sounds like a nice offer. But I'm kind of skeptical. I'm skeptical of people. I never used to be so skeptical of people, but because of things that I have not gone into fully and that I will get into fully at some point when I'm, you know, more inclined to, let's just say, uh, I've been a lot more skeptical of people in general, definitely. And the fact that he wants to do that and he's being so generous and he's like, we can even get together like once a week, and and I'll make sure we're always going to a nice place. You can always, I like to go here and I like to go there, and you should come out with me, and don't worry, it's always on me. You don't have to worry about paying for anything. And I make plenty of money and all this stuff. Like, okay, sounds nice, but it's like, I don't meet people like that. Maybe that's normal. This is the dilemma now. This is the dilemma from all this. Like, maybe there are a lot of people like this. Maybe this is normal, but I've never met somebody like that before. Most people I meet are like, I'm usually the one, although I won't outrightly say that I'll do that for somebody, but I'm typically the one who is way more generous than the people I hang out with. So I'm not used to people being a lot more generous with me. Now, also, he's just saying that, but it sounds like he's really generous. Like, my mom is talking about the interactions that they're having, and it sounds like he's a really generous guy. And the couple, both of them are very, very generous. And he's saying, he wants to like fix me up with somebody. He knows like a lot of really beautiful women, and they're also doing very well, and they've got a good head on their shoulders, come from a good family, wants to introduce. And I'm like, I don't want to do, I've been around a lot of beautiful women, and I don't care. I don't care. Like, it's nice to be around beautiful women. Absolutely. I'm not going to say no, but I don't care that much about whether or not somebody is beautiful. I mean, in order for me to be able to get like intimate with somebody, of course, I have to be attracted to them. And if they're beautiful and they've also got like their life together and all that, awesome. But I'm just not looking for anybody like that. Like, I'm just not looking for anybody. Just not looking for anybody at all. I don't care. I'm enjoying having my own time to myself, not being so close to anybody, I'm fine not having any intimacy with anybody. It's been great. It's been peaceful. It's been calm. It's been relaxing. So yeah, I'm just not really convinced to do any of that. But again, they're going off on a little bit of a tangent. The point I'm trying to make is that this is all really nice. It's all really nice, and I appreciate it, and it's great, but I just don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to think of it. I don't know if this is normal, if people are really like this. Because, I'm going to be 42, and I've never met anybody like that before in my life. Never. I've never met anybody. I don't know if that's, like, sad to say, or if this is just normal. I don't know. But I've never met anybody who's been willing to be like really generous with me and like really take the time to connect with me. It's usually the other way around. It's usually me trying to connect with people and making the effort to connect with people, and me going out of my way and doing things for people. It's never the other way around. I never have it the other way around. So because that's how life has been for 42 years, besides obviously my parents in a lot of ways. Yeah, they've been, like that with me. But other than that, my brother isn't really like that with me so much, which is fine. This is what I'm used to. This is my norm. That's my norm. My norm is that people are just into their own life and don't really care about what's going on with your life. And that's fine. That's fine. And I've been the opposite. I'm trying to be the other way now. I'm trying to be more somebody who's just into what's going on with me and not caring that much about what's going on with other people and just focusing on myself. And that's it. And now that now I'm meeting somebody who is not like that, and I'm scratching my head, literally, because my head's itchy right now. But I'm also figuratively scratching my head. Like, this doesn't make sense to me. So, if this is normal, let me know. Let me know if maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, and there are a lot of people like this, and it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly normal, and you don't need to be so skeptical of it. Maybe you're going to tell me that, and maybe you're going to tell me the opposite. Maybe you're going to be like, yeah, absolutely, it's good to be skeptical. What are your thoughts? What do you think about that? Because, yeah, I'm just at a loss. I'm just going to go with the flow and just have my guard up, and I am just kind of nervous about it. And there was actually another situation last night. I was going to talk about this last, but it doesn't really matter. I don't have to go into the order that I have it here. So there's another situation last night, which I surprised myself with how I reacted to it. What was going on with me at the time. And okay, so I decided to hang out with my buddy who I said I would never hang out with again, because he'd gone to a bunch of trouble, and kind of, freaked me out and put up a lot of red flags. Not that he didn't do anything wrong himself. He just put himself into a situation that wrong was done to him in a really awful way. I mean, the guy's lucky to be alive. And because of that, I didn't want to hang out with him anymore, because I don't know if the same thing is going to happen. Maybe the same thing could happen to him, or something similar could happen to him, and I'm with him at the time, and maybe something happens to me, right? So this is a way of me protecting myself and looking out for me. So I promised I'd never hang out with him again. It's been months. He keeps asking me to hang out with him, and I do miss the guy. I miss the guy, and I decide, okay, fine, I'm gonna go hang out with the guy. So we just ordered a pizza. We watched the newest Matrix movie, which was actually not as bad. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as everybody said it was. It was okay. It was fine. It was fine. It was, yeah. Yeah, it was okay. Whatever. So, yeah, anyways, the point I'm trying to make is, on the way down, I was at a red light. I was driving at a red light, and there was a guy that approached my car and knocked on the window, and I just waved at him, and then I locked the doors. And I was kind of nervous, anxious. I started getting anxious thoughts. And that has never happened to me before. That has definitely never happened to me ever before. I've never had that. Usually I would just wave and I wouldn't think too much about it, and I'd just move on. But I locked the doors, because in my mind I thought maybe he's going to open the door, and who knows what he's going to do. And so it was this instantaneous kind of reaction. And it made me step back and go whoa, I'm really skeptical of people now. And I think a lot of it has to do, I think all of it has to do with what happened. But it's just noteworthy. It's just interesting. I don't know what to really think about it. I'm just sort of observing these things of myself that are interesting, that are new, that are unfamiliar, let's say. And I wanted to mention here, because again, I'm curious to know thoughts. Maybe this happens to you, and curious to know, if you want to share, why does it happen with you? Why do these sorts of things happen with you? What do you do if you notice these things happen to you? How do you interact with yourself in those moments? How do you get through it? Because it's all kind of new to me. Okay, now let's go into something else. Let's go into something that I thought was just kind of weird, let's say. I mean, there's a lot of a lot of things in my life that happen to me that I share here are weird. But this was something that I saw. So I was watching a YouTube video, and you get the ads, and I got this particular ad, and I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Kasamba before. It's like the first time I ever heard of this company. Supposedly they provide like psychic readings for people. Okay, I don't believe in any of that kind of stuff, but some people do, and fine, that's cool. But the ad was weird in the way where, like, I mean, we're gonna watch the ad in a second, and you can let me know what you think. But like, okay, you know what? Let's just watch it. Let's just watch it a little bit, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so, oh, yeah, look at this. Aha. So this is the ad, and, oh, yeah, this lady is talking about, okay, so first of all, this was actually going to be the point I was going to make right off the get-go, but let's see if you noticed this first. Let's just play the whole entire ad from beginning to end, and you can tell me what you think of it, or you actually generate your own thoughts from the ad, and then I'm going to tell you my thoughts. So generate your own thoughts while you watch the ad. We'll watch the whole entire thing, and then you tell me. You can tell me what you think of it. You can tell me if you agree with my thoughts of it. Tell me if we think the same thing of it. But this is just, yeah, again, just noteworthy, interesting things that I observe and that I want to share. Let's just rewind it back to the beginning. Okay, so let's do it. I'm going to keep myself quiet. Let's watch the whole thing. Here we go.
I caught my boyfriend cheating on me, and that's what made me decide to call Psychic Donna for the first time. And she warned me that he would not stop cheating, that he was going to do it again. That really wasn't the answer I wanted to hear. Donna's made me feel more confident in myself and helped me understand that I deserve better.
Okay. So, yeah. Let's talk about this. So what'd you think? What'd you think? What were some of the thoughts that went through your mind when you watched that ad? First thought I went through is, first of all, why would you be smiling? Why would you be smiling? If you're talking about your boyfriend cheating on you, or your significant other, then why would you be smiling about it? And yeah, that just seems strange. Like, clearly you're acting. Clearly you're acting, and you're not a person that... This is just my thoughts. This is my opinion. I think it's clear as light day. You're just acting. You're not somebody who is a client. You're not somebody who used the service for this purpose, at least. You're just acting. You're just saying a bunch of BS, and you're just somebody who's hired to help promote and create this ad. That's it. I mean, look at it again. To me, this seems pretty obvious. Like, yeah, just look back at this.
I caught my boyfriend cheating on me, and that's what made me decide to call.
Yeah, like, why would she be laughing? Why would she be laughing? That is weird. It's just weird. Nobody's going to be laughing. They find out that their boyfriend's cheating on them, and they're going to be heartbroken. They're going to be hurt. They're going to be bothered. I mean, maybe certain relationships are different, but if you're going to a psychic to find out if he's going to cheat on you again, then I would imagine that you would be bothered. I would think that's the reason why you do that. You're bothered by this idea. You don't want to have to worry about this. So that's why you go to the psychic to find out. And yeah, you're not going to be smiling about it. There's no way. There's no way you're going to be smiling about it. If you're bothered by it, you're going to be crying or maybe just like not looking happy. So that's just strange. That's just strange. Now, also another clear sign that I've learned of somebody who is not telling the truth about stuff. Now, okay, granted, not all the time, but clear signs of somebody not telling the truth when they are talking about something, they are laughing or smiling, or they kind of cover their face, do stuff like this, or they're shaking their head like this, because it's harder to lie than to tell the truth. So there will be psychological undertones that will come out physically when you're expressing a lie. Some people are different than others. Some people have no problem lying. Some people, have a hard time telling the truth. But typically, it's easier to tell the truth because it's something that has happened, something that it's your own actual reality. So you just have to just saying it as it is simple. But lying, you have to actually stop and think and process, and you have to imagine the scenario and put together the pieces and make it make sense in your mind, and then you can kind of talk about it. So it's a lot more effort that takes place. So yeah, I just thought this ad was just I think that if you're going to put together an ad for something, at least have some sense of honesty to the ad, like your honesty in the purpose of the ad, or just have a funny ad, and that's cool too, or just have an entertaining ad, and that's fine too. But just don't put up something where somebody's supposed to be a client and give a testimonial, and it's, to me, clear as light of day that it's a lie. I just think I don't like. I'm not going to interact with a company that's going to try to mislead me right from the get-go with an ad. I'm just not going to do that. I mean, yeah, yeah. It puts a bad taste in the mouth. So, yeah, you tell me what you think. Do you agree with me? Are you on the same page with me about this? Did you have the same thoughts when you were looking at that? Did you have different thoughts? Do you think I'm completely wrong? Let me know. Comment. But also, again, if you just want to know for yourself that, whether or not you agree with me or disagree with me or had other thoughts and you don't want to comment, that's cool too. That's fine as well. But in any case, that's what I wanted to show you because I thought it was interesting. And again, that's what we do here. Not only do we build a community to help support one another and the challenges that we're going through in life, but we also just share. We just share things that are interesting. We share things that we've learned. We just share. This is all about sharing. Now, next, I want to talk about how to know if you're being abused or if you're being abusive. I want to talk about this because I have another friend, different friend, who reached out to me a few days ago, and he's never really reaches out to me. Never. I've tried to reach out to him a number of times, try to make plans with them, and doesn't really amount to very much. We don't really talk, but he reached out to me because he knows that I've been through some stuff, and he is dealing with a girl who he had a child with, and yeah, I mean, it's by the sounds of it, she's been extremely abusive to him. And he was not realizing it. And I didn't really know that this was going on. But he just kind of opened up, told me what was happening, and told me some of the difficulties he's going through. And I'm like, dude, you're totally being abused in this scenario. 100%. He's like, really? You think so? I'm like, no, dude, not that I think so. I know so. It's obvious. Really obvious. Give you some examples. She confines him. They get into an argument and he just wants to diffuse the argument, and he's like, okay, let's talk about this later. It's getting a little heated. Let's talk about this later. And she doesn't want to let it go. And he's like, okay, I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna leave the house, and we'll let this calm down, and then we can come back to it another time. And he tries to leave, and she gets in front of the door and won't let him leave. That's confining, and that's clear as light of day. That confinement is a form of abuse. Should never confine somebody to an area. People should be free, should be allowed to move about and do what they got to do in their own way, And nobody should hinder that process because that's abusive. Also, yells at him when they're in arguments. Like, she gets heated very quickly, and he's just like, fine, we're disagreeing, but let's just talk it through. But she freaks out, yells, screams, throws stuff. Abusive. She'll call him like really horrible names. Abusive. So I said all this stuff to him, and he's like, wow, really? And he's like, I just don't know if I should be with her anymore. I'm like, dude, you should be calling the cops on her. Let alone not, like, forget about whether or not you should be with her. You should be calling the cops on this person. Like, the police are there to protect and serve you. You need protection from this person. This person, like, who knows what they're capable of? I've had my own set of interactions with people, and they do stuff, and I haven't called the cops, and it gets worse. It gets worse because they start to think that they can just get away with this behavior. And it's unfortunate because I find that us men are way less prone to call the police on a woman than a woman is willing to call the police on a man. And I think us men need to do that much more often. I think us men need to call the police on women who are conducting themselves in a highly abusive ways and can't control themselves, or are dangerous to themselves and to other people. Because if us men can't, if not just men, if women can't protect men, and if men can't protect women, and men can't protect other men, and women can't protect if we can't protect each other from being dangerous to ourselves and to other people, then that's when the police have to get involved. I think people should be calling the police much more often when it comes to these situations. Because let them be abusive to the police officer. Let's see that happen. The police are the ones that can really put these people in their place and hopefully open their eyes to their awful behavior. Because it's got to stop. It's got to stop. We got to stop being so abusive to one another. We got to stop being horrible people to one another and stop being so afraid to call the police. Call the police. If you're afraid, if you're scared, if you don't know how to handle a situation, you can at least just call the police for advice. Just call the police for advice. Like, hey, this is happening. What should I do? How should I handle this? Call them for advice. Like, at least do that. You can do that. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize that they can do these things. Like, if you don't know how to handle a situation, you're nervous about it, call the police. And just be like, hey, what do I do? What do I do? Like, should I get you guys to come here? Should I handle this on my own? How should I handle this? What should I be doing right now? I can't think so clearly. This is how I've been this is how I handled it. I tried to talk to them. I tried to leave. I've locked and I told him, like, dude, if you can't leave, like, lock yourself in the bathroom, call the police. Call the police. And get them to just take her away. Seriously. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, yeah, I think that people should be doing that much more often, and not necessarily, like, everybody should be doing that much more often to people. People need to realize that there are clear boundaries. And people also need to be able to express their own boundaries really well. I think a lot of people are afraid to express boundaries, have a difficult time expressing boundaries. So just, if you're not sure how to do that, you need help, call the police. Call the police. Call your local police station. You don't necessarily have to call the emergency line. Just know the number, know the direct number to a particular police station. Talk to the operator and ask them what to do. If you don't know, ask people for advice, people of authority for advice on what to do. Like, hey, how do I handle this? What are my options? And just see what they have to say. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's important that if you are not sure what to do in a situation, look to people to give you advice, people who can give you advice, people of authority to give you advice. And that's my thoughts on that. Now, again, let me know. Let me know. Do you agree with me on that? Do you disagree? Do you think something different? Tell me. Tell me. Those are my thoughts. Now, lastly, this is the last thing I want to talk about. I guess I already talked about, I already talked about that. Yeah, so it looks like I've talked about everything that I want to talk about. I already went through it all. That's great. So, hey, if you made it to the end of the video, don't subscribe, don't like it, don't comment, and don't ping the notification bell. Don't do any of that stuff because we don't do that stuff around here if we don't want to. Around here, we don't do anything we don't want to do. But if you really want to do that, of course, hey, I'm not going to confine you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I want you to do whatever you want to do in relation to this channel. You've got the freedom. You've got the power. Decide. And either way, if you've been here before and you haven't subscribed, you haven't commented, you haven't liked, you haven't pinged it, that's fine. Just happy to have you back. And if it's your first time here, happy to have you as well. And if you want to do this stuff, you don't want to do this stuff, that's cool too. And either way, just have an awesome day. And I have no clue I'm going to be posting again. No idea. So whenever that happens, and bye.